Hello there, I'm Michael, and I don't like this scene specifically in The Last Jedi. Is it because Leia survives in the vacuum of space? Is it because Leia uses the Force? No, this is why.
Admiral Ackbar, all our leadership, they're gone.
Yeah, no, he's not. You do not kill Admiral Ackbar off-screen.
I recognize
Rian Johnson
has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid-ass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
So today's video, how Admiral Ackbar survived the vacuum of space and definitely isn't dead. Right, I feel like I need to start this by clarifying, this is not how you do science. You don't decide the outcome of your research and then just find evidence to support it. Though a lot of people do seem to think that's how it works. God, I really hate people sometimes. Okay, most of the time. So how long can things survive in space? Not in a space station in space, as in space. You know, the place with all the no air and really bloody cold. That space. But what actually makes space deadly? Well, like I said, there's no air, so you'll asphyxiate. And the temperature is 2.7 Kelvin, or about minus 270 degrees Celsius. So you'll freeze. And you'll be getting blasted by solar radiation that you're normally protected from on Earth. Contrary to what some people think, if you went out into space without a spacesuit, you wouldn't instantly explode. Humans can actually survive about 90 seconds in space, but you'd lose consciousness after about 15 seconds. But Ackbar's not a human, so how do other animals fare in space? Well, in near vacuum conditions, dogs can also survive to about 90 seconds, whereas chimpanzees can last up to about 3.5 minutes. Problem there is we're still looking at mammals. We need to take a closer look at Ackbar and his species. Ackbar is Mon Calamari, native to the planet of Mon Cala, which they share with the Quarren. They're an amphibious aquatic species with a lifespan of about 80 years. Their skin colour varied and could be an indicator of what sort of environment they came from. Mon Calamari, who came from colder climates, tended to be less colourful, and also their colour would fade with age. Mon Calamari didn't have to decompress when coming out of water, and they could survive at depths of up to 30 metres. Unsurprisingly, in the real world, the Mon Calamari were named after calamari, i.e. squid. So how would squid do in space? NASA have actually taken Hawaiian bobtail squid into space, but not space, as in space station space. They were testing squid's relationship with microbes whilst in space. So how can we determine how a squid would do in space? Well, squids are actually much better at adapting to changes in environment than humans are. Not to crap all over humanity, though I do like to say I hate humans all the time, but we are really bad at dealing with change. And no, I don't mean how, I don't like it when people move furniture around without notifying me. If you made a manual about how to operate humans, you have to give a guide for temperature, you really wouldn't be given much wiggle room. Some squids, on the other hand, are ridiculously resilient. Take the red devil squid. They live in colder, deeper water, but they feed in the shallower, warmer water. So that's changes in temperature and pressure on a large scale, especially compared to what humans can deal with. They're able to survive in these conditions through a process called genetic regulation. Effectively, they're able to turn down the volume of certain genes, with microRNAs silencing them. So squids can survive in extreme differences of temperature and pressure. So that's only a really small extrapolation to Mon Calamari surviving in space, right? Okay, so maybe I'm ignoring the whole asphyxiation thing. And they may be named after squids, but come on, the Mon Calamari look nothing like squids. Also, they can survive out of water, and I even said they're amphibious. But they do at least seem to share the squid's ability to survive in multiple environments. But we could look down that amphibious route. For example, frogs have been to space, but I couldn't find anything about frogs in a vacuum. So here's the most important question though. Can anything survive in space? This is a tardigrade, more commonly known as a water bear. They are microscopic animals, known to be ridiculously resilient. Fully grown, they're about 0.5 millimeter long. I mean, screw cockroaches. When the world nukes itself into oblivion, the only thing left will be tardigrades. In 2007, a study found that tardigrades are actually able to survive in space for a prolonged period of time. These little guys can even survive temperatures just above absolute zero. They can survive in an enormous range of pressure. Even solar radiation can't kill them. Their only real weakness is prolonged exposure to high temperature, and in space that's not a problem. Basically now what I'm trying to claim with absolutely no evidence is that the Mon Calamari are just giant water bears. Really what I'm saying is that there's proof that certain animals can survive in space, and something named after a squid, which is known to be a much more resilient creature, stands a better chance than a bog-standard human. After all that, you're probably wondering, why the hell do I care so much about the "it's a trap" guy? He is not just a meme. To me, he is one of the most important characters in all of Star Wars. He's just a regular guy using his incredible mind to fight the Empire. He's not a space wizard, he's not a princess, he's not some hulking beast, he's not some guy who had his surname made up by a random Imperial and then passes that surname down to his son when his wife had a much more important surname that actually meant something to her that could have been passed down instead. He should have been Ben Organa, fight me. Ackbar is just a brilliant strategist from a species that was specifically oppressed by the Empire, fighting for freedom. But he's also a man that understands that leading doesn't also just mean running headfirst into every problem, especially when you've got an entire galaxy to think of when you're trying to run a new republic. Take, for example, this book, Aftermath Life Debt. In that book, to me, he shows the perfect mix of following orders and rules so that the people you govern and protect can trust you, whilst also doing the right thing to make sure people don't suffer. I won't go into too much detail about what happens. I'd rather you just went and read the whole Aftermath trilogy, to be honest. It's top tier Star Wars for me. So to summarise, humans can survive in space for about 90 seconds. Squids are much better at adapting to environmental changes than humans. Mon Calamari are awesome. Tardigrades have been shown to be able to survive in space for extended periods of time. I really like Admiral Ackbar, and Admiral Ackbar is not dead.